All right, so welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brittany, Director of EarthTech and Investor Relations here at Foresight Canada. And I'm thrilled to have you all here today for EarthTech 2050's Pitch Day. So EarthTech 2050 is a program in partnership between Foresight Canada and Social Innovation Canada. Today, you will have the opportunity to see ventures from this year's cohort and 2 alumni from last year, showcasing how they are tackling some of Canada's biggest climate challenges. Next slide. Okay, so firstly, it is with immense gratitude and respect we acknowledge that the lands on which Foresight operates are the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and the Indigenous elders of other communities who may be here today. As mentioned earlier, EarthTech 2050 is a program developed in partnership and collaboration between Foresight Canada and Social Innovation Canada. Foresight Canada is Canada's leading cleantech accelerator with a purpose to help the world do more with less sustainably, and on a mission to connect industry with the world's best clean technologies, just like our EarthTech 2050 ventures. And one way we do this is through events just like these, including our upcoming and largest event of the year, Foresight 50, where we recognize Canada's 50 most investable cleantech ventures at the forefront of global climate action. So be sure to follow us on LinkedIn to get first access to tickets when registration opens. Okay, our partner, Social Innovation Canada, is an incredible organization working across many sectors to address complex challenges of national relevance and create transformational change. It is through the partnership between Foresight Canada and Social Innovation Canada that we can provide expertise in both scaling sustainable technologies that also have an incredible social impact. A specific example of their expertise is the Climate and Equity Lab, led by SI Canada in partnership with Gore Mutual and York University. The lab addresses the disproportionate impact of climate change on vulnerable and equity-seeking groups in Canadian urban environments, including the increasing number of those Canadians who are deemed uninsurable. So be sure to check out their website at sicanada.org to learn more. Next slide. EarthTech 2050 is also a result and made possible by our 3 funding partners, RBC Foundation, Peter Gilligan Foundation, and Bullfrog Power. So if you have a chance, check out all of our partners and the climate impact funds and projects they are all working on to help us support the deployment and adoption of sustainable and social impact technologies. Okay, so what exactly is EarthTech 2050? Well, we're in our second and very successful year, and with the funding from our partners, we were able to get some incredible scopes of work done for our ventures, who each individually have the capacity to reduce or remove 0.5 gigaton of CO2 equivalent by 2050. So just to put a picture to that number, Canada alone emits approximately 0.5 gigaton of CO2 equivalent per year. So if you're interested to learn more about the program, please feel free to reach out to me or Shauna directly. Okay, so before we jump into the really exciting stuff, just want to take a quick preview of the agenda and lineup for the day. So we will have 3 short pitch blocks, where each venture has an opportunity to pitch for 4 minutes. And in between each block, there will be a 15-minute Q&A session in the breakout rooms, where you can jump into the room of your choice to learn more. Okay, so I'd like to introduce you all to Shauna Hamilton, Foresight Canada's Program Manager for EarthTech 2050. Shauna will be introducing our ventures to come unmute themselves for their elevator pitches. Over to you, Shauna.
Awesome. Thank you, Brittany. I am thrilled to announce the first block of pitches today. We are starting with Cascadia Seaweed, who is one of our alumni ventures from last year. Cascadia has made some incredible wins since the program last year, including being named one of Canada's 50 most investable ventures by Foresight Canada and closing the first 4 million tranche of their Series A round. Pitching for Cascadia Seaweed today is the CEO, Michael. I will welcome you up to the stage now, Michael, to kick us off. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I'll just share my screen here. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good morning. My name is Michael Williamson, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cascadia Seaweed. Our headquarters is located in Vancouver Island in British Columbia, and our operations are primarily in British Columbia. I'm joined today by Rob Napoli, our CFO, and I thank you for your time today. Making my slide change here. Here we go. Crop producers have a job to do, whether they're growing cereal crops in the desert, vegetables in California, or fruit in British Columbia. They need to produce more with less while mitigating the effects of climate change, but most of all, remain profitable so they can continue the important work they do growing food. And we're here to help. Our liquid biostimulants increase yields and profitability by enhancing nutrient uptake, increasing resistance to abiotic stress like drought, and are easily integrated into existing farming practices. Biostimulants directly promote the reduction of use of harsh synthetic fertilizers, reducing nitrogen and nitrous oxide emissions, and increasing soil carbon, all the while lowering CO2e in agriculture. Because we are vertically integrated, produce large volumes, and are conveniently located in British Columbia and expanding into Alaska, we can deliver a quality product faster at a better price than our competitors. As a producer of liquid biostimulants, we're part of a larger biological market, which is growing at almost 14% a year and is expected to be worth around $25 billion by 2027. Seaweed products and ingredients make up a third of this market, and it's the fastest growing segment. Cascadia Seaweed is well positioned to be the most reliable supplier in North America. In fact, we already have inbound international sales inquiries. Conservatively, we estimate that the serviceable addressable market in North America to be worth $600 million by 2030, of which Cascadia Seaweed is targeting $140 million in sales of seaweed biostimulants in the same period. We have conducted a number of product trials with promising results and are progressing on specific crop trials, and we're already enjoying customer reorders. And our sales strategy involves displacing existing sales from competitors who are much farther away from our geographical target. So far, this has proven to be a successful go-to-market strategy, and we're on track to exceed our sales targets for this fiscal year and are almost halfway already committed for the following year. We're all about sustainable aquaculture supporting regenerative agriculture. We grow local species of seaweed on low-impact ocean farms in partnership with coastal First Nations. We then harvest that biomass and use green technology to manufacture agriculture products for large-scale producers. Our primary focus is on developing and selling liquid biostimulants. And we're also conducting trials on the residual solid material as an animal feed additive. This uses 100% of the biomass and has potential to increase our profitability as a vertically integrated company. We control supply and quality. Our process is circular and nature-based and addresses climate-related regulations that are being imposed on producers. Last year, we produced 300 wet tons. This year, the target 600 tons, and combined with our own biomass and biomass from Alaska, we can meet and exceed our targets. We have attracted an incredible team to make an incredible company that makes a dollar while making a difference. And as mentioned, we're in the final stages of completing our Series A. Thank you for your time and attention, and we're happy to address any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. Next up is a venture from our current cohort, Ontolly Carbon. Ontolly Carbon has made incredible progress and hit key milestones within just the first 3 months of the EarthTech 2050 program, but I will let them tell you all about it in more detail. So pitching for Ontolly today is the founder and CEO, Ashley. I will turn it over to you now, Ashley.
Hi, good morning. My name's Ashley Sarar. I'm the CEO and founder of Ontolly Carbon. So we transform carbon into an asset. Oh. Sorry about that. 1 second. Perfect. Okay, so we are a SaaS carbon credit certification and marketplace for buildings company, and we're 8 months in, pilot stage, pre-revenue. And so unlike modeling companies, we actually certify carbon assets, and we allow building owners and buyers to trade and sell to reduce costs and generate revenue. And so a really applicable reason why we're very relevant is that 125 jurisdictions are implementing performance-based standards. So this is actually a tax on building emissions, and New York is a great example of a really high carbon credit price and a tax on 33,000 buildings. So this is $270 per ton, and this translates into tens of thousands of dollars per building as a compliance cost, and that kicks in this year for last year. So local law 97 allows offsets, and we're creating a new offset market. So we're essentially allowing high performers to sell their offsets to generate revenue and low performers to buy those offsets to lower their compliance obligations. And so it's a very classic in terms of a cap and trade or a performance-based trading system. So who am I to deliver on this? Well, I'm actually an expert in this field. I have worked for 2 provincial governments designing climate change legislation, including 2 governments in Alberta and British Columbia. I developed the tier regulation in Alberta, which is the largest offset market in North America from the regulatory perspective. And then I worked for Verra, which is a leader in the voluntary carbon market. So I developed this great team around me in terms of advisors, technical staff, scientific advisory, and a strategic advisory, including members of the Canada Green Building Council, RealPAC, and a host of others. And so for product, we actually created both a certification framework and a marketplace. The certification framework includes models, jurisdictional models, algorithms, an entire process for the quantification. And then we've outlined certification standard, methodologies, and a verification cohort system. And then we've also built a marketplace, a digital carbon registry, and a data portal. So this is what it looks like from the marketplace perspective. You can filter based off of building type, price range, volume, and then you can actually sell your emissions reductions into the market. And this is essentially the framework for how we make money. So we take a transaction performance certification fee based off of that transaction occurring. And so it's a large opportunity. For New York alone, it's $100 million annual recurring revenue opportunity, in that we have the ability to charge about 5% of the compliance fees that we're helping lower. And if you translate this into the other 125 jurisdictions, that translates into approximately a $13 billion annual recurring revenue opportunity. So we're in the pilot phase right now. We're working with building owners in Canada to test our data systems. Bondi Energy is implementing 3 of their buildings into our systems. So finalizing those final flows in terms of data. We're in a 3rd conversation with New York, and we're on track to be implemented as a certified system in their system. And then, yeah, we're in this process of talking to investors. Again, we're only 8 months in, and we've already created all of this momentum. We're talking about 15 investors right now, including Active Impact, Panache. I was at an Angel Forum last week presenting. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to get interested and get involved now for our upcoming raise in April. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ashley. Look forward to hearing more in your breakout room. Next, we will welcome Cytochrome to the stage. They are based in Newfoundland, and they're making waves, if you will, in the climate space with their innovative enhanced weathering technology to store CO2 in the ocean. So pitching today, we have Nate, and I will turn it over to you, Nate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can all hear me? Great.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, my name is Nathan Walworth. I'm a marine climate scientist, biogeochemist by background, and I'm excited to present to you Cytochrome, or carbon storage and critical metal recovery. So heavy industries need to decarbonize while maintaining their operations. They are facing a high cost of green fuel alternatives, a high cost of carbon capture and storage, and tightening emissions regulations. So that's compliance, carbon markets, carbon taxes. So Cytochrome technology solves this bottleneck. But really, heavy industries, what they're facing in this regard is hundreds of millions in emissions compliance costs. So what Cytochrome will do will save industrial plants hundreds of millions of dollars per year in the compliance sector. So how do we do this? Cytochrome industrializes a natural process. For example, the globally abundant mineral olivine reacts with atmospheric CO2 and can sequester atmospheric CO2 as bicarbonate. This is the oldest carbon sequestration cycle on the planet. So what we do is we industrialize this process by containerizing it and building coastal seawater facilities where we dissolve the same mineral, but instead of atmospheric CO2, we sequester industrial CO2 for $30 a ton. So what that basically looks like is 3 simple inputs. Imagine a CO2 source like a power plant or a cement plant on the coastline or a port, olivine, and seawater. And then CO2 is converted into bicarbonate, which is stable for 10,000 years in the surface ocean. This has been studied for decades by oceanographers as an uncontroversial form of carbon storage. We also recover nickel and chromium that come from the olivine itself as critical metals. So this is an atmospheric pressure and ambient temperature reactor, so we do not pull or rely on renewable energy for these reactions. Cytochrome is 50% cheaper than geological storage, and this is simply because we remove logistics. We co-locate with our industrial CO2 sources to sequester CO2 as bicarbonate on site. This removes expensive third-party infrastructure, for example, like injection wells, CO2 pipelines, and ships. So we are CO2 storage as a service. What's important to remember is we do not generate carbon credits. We offer CO2 storage in compliance markets. So for example, the EU ETS is a 20-year compliance market. These are legislated carbon costs. So in early 2030s, it's projected to be $210 compliance cost of carbon per ton. So for example, if we co-locate with an ammonia plant in the EU, so we are $30 a ton sequestration, and then an average capture cost for that stack is $60 a ton, so $90 end to end. What does this mean? So for an average ammonia EU plant, we save them $115 million per year in compliance costs. Our margin is generated directly from these cost savings. So for every million-ton facility, we can generate 2,500 tons of nickel and 3,000 tons of chromium for the energy transition. And the opportunity is that olivine is one of the most abundant minerals in Earth's mantle. It's globally distributed. There's enough of it to sequester all human-made CO2, and we can operate in places where geological storage cannot. So if we zoom in on Europe, these are the existing planned carbon capture projects that are already going. And these are existing planned geological storage sites. So Europe will try to get their CO2 to these storage sites, which will be a challenge. This is the distribution of olivine mineral deposits, and these are the active olivine mines. So in the top point, we have a 5-year relationship with the top green point, which is the largest olivine supplier in the world, and we have an LOI to place our facilities on their olivine mine on the coast. These are the 3 verticals that are very interested that we are talking to right now with LOIs and MOUs. We have an experienced team of climate scientists and energy executives, and we are raising a 6.5 million capital raise to get us to industrial TRL-7 pilot with a deployment package to secure development partnerships like you see here. Cytochrome was spun out of another company called Vesta, where we de-risked it over $25 million in grants and equity. I was the former head of science there, and now we are raising a 6.5 million round. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nate. And we have one more venture for this first block before our breakout rooms. The venture is Green Manganese, who has developed an eco-friendly method to extract battery-grade manganese. So pitching today is the CEO, Alexei. I will let you take it away, Alexei. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Alexei, a CEO and co-founder of Green Manganese, eco-friendly manganese production. We develop technology to extract manganese from low-grade ore, mining tailings, and industrial waste. Manganese is a critical mineral in the United States, Canada, and EU. It has been also added as defense critical raw material by NATO last year. Manganese is mainly used in steel production, and it's irreplaceable material to produce the steel. Despite its importance, there is 100% reliance on imports of manganese to produce the steel in the United States and European Union. The market size of the manganese is $45 billion, with over 20 million of ore mined and processed every year. United States and Europe alone consume 1.5 million tons of ore and alloys. This consumption generates a lot of tailings and waste, and it's poses environmental challenges. But we see this as an opportunity to upcycle these tailings using our sustainable solution and onshoring the manganese production. By upcycling the tailings from the mine site all the way to the ore beneficiation and after the ferroalloy smelting, our technology is capable to extract the manganese and produce manganese metallized pellets, which can be directly fed into the steel mill. This will allow us to bypass the ferroalloy smelting, which will significantly reduce the CO2 emission. Our technology based on leaching in autoclave, and I can explain it in more details in breakout rooms. So far, we run the bench scale demonstration at University of British Columbia, where we ran the lab, and we produced several materials from the raw materials provided by our partners. We tested 3 materials, one raw ore tailing from South Africa, the furnace dust from permalloy producer, and the legacy tailings that accumulated in the United States over the last century from the mining operation. We were able to achieve 85% of the extraction, and we produce a few products based on the initial request from partners. A manganese for the batteries in form of the manganese sulfates, and the manganese dioxide for the steel production, the pellets. We are currently in the phase of finalizing the collaboration agreement with one of the partners to proceed to the next pilot lab scale study to develop the process flow sheet and finalize the product specification. Here's our key milestones and go-to-market strategies. So far, we have signed 2 MOUs with OFZ and Cisco, and we're working on a third MOU with Fujax, which is South African manganese mining company. This year, we plan to perform the lab scale pilot, as I mentioned, and prepare the flow sheet to start the continuous piloting of 5,000 kilos of manganese tailings to produce sufficient amount of material to validate with customers. That will allow us to secure offtakes agreements and move to the phase where we can start in the construction, building the pilot plant, and securing the supplier contracts with the help from Ocean Partners as our distributor. This is our co-founders team, myself, Igor, and Maria. Igor and I, we have both a metallurgical background. We used to work at the mining company and deployed several technologies to ore beneficiation and alloy production for the steel makers. We're currently raising $700,000 as a pre-seed funding to run the continuous pilot. The use of funds will be to prepare and run the pilot, finalize the product specification, secure offtakes agreements, IP protection, and further business development. We're committed to sustainable manganese production, building a greener future. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei. That was great. Now we have a chance to move into some breakout rooms.
Become more, and disposing of it has become more expensive and restricted. So we solve a real problem of industrial waste disposal. We transform food and ag waste and biosolids, both wet and dry, and we transform that into a sustainable bio oil for carbon removal, and it has a future option of upgrading into renewable fuels. So what is the main value that we bring to our customers? Well, we save them money. We reduce their disposal costs. We know that economics drive decisions, and our current feedstock supply customers are saving money. A dairy processor is saving 55% in their transportation costs of their waste, and a food mill is saving 48% in disposal costs per ton. So as I mentioned a moment ago, we transform these wastes and byproducts into sustainable bio oil for permanent injection to earn CDRs, or carbon dioxide removal credits. The Frontier Group was chosen, was put together to commit over $1 billion to buy CDRs to support companies with unique technologies that have massive scaling potential. Well, New Life was one of these chosen. They highlighted the fact that New Life solves a real problem of waste, can remove PFAS or forever chemicals, and we create co-products. So really, where are we at and where are we going? We've completed the pilot stage and we've scaled up our tech. We are operating 2 commercial-sized processors. We are demonstrating our solution with our current customers. Next week, we will make our first CDR delivery. This is a key milestone in the process for a larger offtake. We received a small Canadian CDR offtake last week and are currently completing the Frontier preconditions for a follow-on offtake. Our technology is modular and scalable. We are expanding by adding additional processors to handle the increased demand and accelerate our delivery to Frontier. The equipment has been ordered for installation in April, And because we're using cash in the bank, we will raise a similar amount of $700,000 to manage the cash flow. This summer, we will receive over $1 million between SR&ED and grant repayments. The next massive milestone for us this fall is delivering the remaining CDRs to Frontier. Then we anticipate larger CDR offtakes. With this, we will quickly expand to a full commercial facility with an expected cost of $1.1 million. We have an initial agreement for local feedstock, and with that feedstock agreement and a large offtake, we expect to use project financing for our next facility in 2026. So a great question is, can New Life become a billion-dollar company? It's all driven by feedstock. We require less than 1/5 of 1% of the global supply, or 1% of biosolids, to achieve $1 billion in annual revenue. So I thank you for taking a few minutes to learn about New Life. If you wish to learn more, become involved, please join me in the breakout room.
Thanks, Jerry. That was fantastic. We look forward to your breakout room. Next up, we have VulcanX, recently named one of Canada's top 50 most investable ventures. VulcanX offers the most cost-effective hydrogen production at the same time as the leading steam methane reforming process, but with significantly lower emissions. So pitching for VulcanX today, we have CEO Omar. Omar, I will welcome you to the stage. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, good morning. My name is Omar Herrera, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of VulcanX, where we develop a technology that takes advantage of the natural gas grid to produce low-emission hydrogen and solid carbon at the lowest cost. There is a $250,000 market, and it's going to continue to grow, driven by ammonia production for fertilizers and emerging technologies like steel manufacturing and cement. The problem is that it's hard to make. It requires energy, which means emissions, to maintain costs as low as possible. That is why we came up with a solution that is producing low-cost and low-emission hydrogen and solid carbon. This is a patented solution that uses natural gas and the hydrocarbons and other types of hydrocarbons to convert that into hydrogen as a gas and carbon as a solid. It is more economical than current hydrogen production methods with no emissions on site. So we designed the system for scale. A single reactor can produce up to 50 tons of hydrogen per day, and it can match the cost starting at 10. And when I say we designed for scale, I meant it. Our first reactor was a 1 kilogram of hydrogen per day system. Then the follow-up is a 200 kilogram of hydrogen demonstration plant, with aims to build a 1 ton per day plant facility, and our second generation reactor that would take advantage of all the learnings that we have gone through in the past and demonstrate its long-term performance. So far, we have been able to secure $40 million in non-dilutive funding to de-risk and advance the technology. We have built partnerships with natural gas utilities and cement manufacturers, where we are testing the use of both hydrogen and solid carbon as an additive that enhances the concrete by making it stronger, lighter, cures faster, and water repellent. We began as a strong technical team and grew our team with an experienced CFO and a senior engineering manager that have built large hydrogen infrastructure. The engineering team is currently in Calgary, and because that's where they know how to build big things. We're currently raising $7 million USD to implement the technology, file more patents, continue to grow the team, as our business model is based on licensing and royalties. We are also developing other types of partnerships related to ammonia production, steel manufacturing, and cement. And with that, I leave you to it. If you have any more questions, feel free to come into our break room. I know that I did a speed dating one, but I'm very interested to talk more.
Love it. Thank you, Omar. That was great. Next up, we have Destiny Copper. They recently received Canada's Clean 50 Award from Delta Management Group. Destiny Copper has developed the world's first clean tech copper extraction process to produce high purity copper crystals with almost no energy and significantly less emissions. So pitching today, we have Josh, who is the lead scientist, and I'll turn it over to you, Josh. Thanks.
Thanks, Shauna, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Destiny has developed a sustainable copper recovery process specifically from waste streams. So there are multiple problems currently with conventional copper production. It's energy intensive, it's expensive, the capital requirements typically necessary to implement SX-EW operations, relatively inefficient. You can generate a lot of emissions to air and water systems. And Destiny Copper has developed a patented process that can extract copper from waste streams as well as those generated on mine site. So we're targeting both industrial waste streams that contain copper, as well as the remediation of both fresh and historic tailings reserves. Our process uses a science-based approach to recover copper directly from solution. We can recover copper with high purity in the presence of other metal contaminants, other impurities, resulting in 99.99% pure copper. And we're using an alternative to the traditional chemistry, which has been used in the past, the exchange of iron for copper. So we're consuming scrap iron, post-consumer waste, and we're generating these high purity copper crystals, which are going into commercial applications. I don't have to sell you on copper. It's a $240 billion TAM. Currently, there's expected 600% increase in the consumption of copper with the expected growth of renewables over the next 8 years. And it's forecasted to increase in price as we continue to digitize and electrify our infrastructure. Destiny is currently operating a pilot plant in Thorold, Ontario. It's near Niagara Falls. And we've already initiated product validation with several companies. We have letters of intent already lined up from both generators of these copper-rich wastes, as well as multinationals that consume the copper material in various products. And we're currently completing orders on our pilot plant. A lot of these materials are going to the ceramics industry currently. But we're looking at the catalyst market as well, as the copper materials are used for the synthesis of chemical products. Our current commercialization roadmap is well underway. We are completing a bridge raise currently. The pilot plant is producing material, and we're designing and beginning procurement for our demonstration plant. We expect to produce 1,500 metric tons per year of copper and copper materials from this demonstration plant, allowing us to secure large-scale commercialization agreements, as well as begin the fabrication of these modular facilities where we hope to put on clients' sites for recovery of copper instead of transmitting or transporting material to our site currently. We have a dynamic team of talented individuals. Greg, our CEO, our chief science advisor, Dr. Ian Brindle, is rated top 2% of scientists globally. And we have a great C-level. Our CFO, Brad Ralph, is over $1 billion in merger and acquisition deals. And we're currently developing our strategic partnerships. We're looking at both industrial connections. So if you're procuring copper materials, whether that's copper metal or specialty chemicals, or you're generating a stream of copper waste, whether that's industrially or on a mine site, we'd be happy to chat. We're already half subscribed for our $5 million round. But as a startup, we're always open to discussing potential for strategic investors. So thank you for the time. Happy to chat further in the breakout room. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Josh. And our fourth venture for this block is Circulus AgTech. We're excited to welcome them back as another alumni of our EarthTech 2050 program. Circulus was also recently named one of Canada's top 50 most investable ventures and has developed a way to upcycle organic waste into precise liquid fertilizer. So pitching today is the CEO, David. I will welcome you to the stage, David. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Work. Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm David, founder of EarthTech, where we rethink waste, water, and fertilizer. And the main problem that we tackle at Circulus is the heavy dependence of our food system on synthetic fertilizers, mainly nitrogen, which is responsible for large amounts of greenhouse gas emissions. And on the other hand, the way that we manage manure and organic waste is not performant enough to replace the synthetic inputs in our complex food system. So with these two factors, and after 100 years of massive fertilizer usage, our soil are depleted of microbial life, so we need to fertilize them even more to keep our high yields in the field. So we're losing nutrients left and right, waterways, volatilization, and the current waste management methods, well, if you think of composting or biogas production, well, they fail to produce fertilizers that can offset the use of synthetics in a performant and efficient way. And on top of that, they don't provide water that can be reused for human food production. Typically, the output of aerobic digestion or just raw manure is only applied for animal food production. So to tackle that, we have developed the circular system. It's a process that is inspired by wastewater treatment, but instead of destroying nitrogen and phosphorus, well, we go ahead and capture them using a bacterial process. So in a matter of days instead of months, compared to conventional methods, we're able to produce a biofertilizer that is autolyzed and pathogen-free, which can be directly reinjected in the irrigation system during the season, offsetting the use of synthetic products. So it's a process where we blend the matter, we get it to react with bacteria, and we use membranes to concentrate the nutrient value. And our job is really to look at what's going on, optimize it, and make sure that we reach target nutrient levels. I can go a bit deeper in the breakout room if you're interested on what's going on and how we optimize bacterial activity. That's our IPs around that. But the main thing that you guys have to remember is that we do smart biology to capture nitrogen. So by processing organic waste like manure directly, we'll reduce methane emissions linked to storage. By producing beneficial bacteria, we optimize soil health. And with these two factors, well, we can replace large amounts of synthetic nitrogen. Here at 80%, we were able to reach that in greenhouse cultures. We can reach very high numbers in the field also. So we work with organic waste generators, but we provide fertilizers that can compete with synthetic products. The synthetic products used to be cheap. Now the environmental consensus is clear. We got to get rid of those. Organic fertilizers, they're solid. Sometimes they're more expensive, and their nutrient availability is different. So they're hard to match with the crop needs. So at Circulus, we work with waste inputs, and we make products that can be applied with the same equipment as synthetic products. So with the scale that we reach, we can reach lower prices than current fertilizers. So just business model wise, we work with companies that have waste to sell them equipment so that they can produce biostimulant and mineral liquid fertilizers, which helps them reduce the amount of synthetics that they consume and use their nutrient value to enter new markets, generating an extra revenue stream. Just a few pictures of what happens with when we process the raw manure. These are pictures, soilless cultures. But essentially, we take products that are not seen as fertilizers and bring them to a higher level of recognition and usage. Just make more pictures and results. I'll keep that short on time. But yeah, so we've been active for a few years, and we're now just entering our commercialization phase. We have our first orders for systems. Our new products are currently entering the market, and we're scaling, trying to partner with equipment suppliers to scale our systems according to client needs. It can be scaled. It's essentially 3 steps, but we focus on reaching high nutrient levels and performances. So yeah, we work with we're targeted to work with the larger waste processors like biogas plants to process their digestate, which is a logical choice for us. And we're expanding. We started in Quebec, but expanding in North America in the coming years. We're a team with various backgrounds, and we're currently raising money to help us commercialize and scale our business. We've secured our first investors, and now we're looking for a lead to close our seed round. And we're also looking for partners. So if you're interested in Circular Tech, I'll be happy to strike a conversation and tell you a bit more. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. That was awesome. We'll move into our next breakout rooms now. Again, we'll just share the slide on how to join the rooms. So again, every venture you just heard from will have a room. Feel free to jump around. Brittany has also shared the link to follow up with ventures that you'd like to follow up with from today. And we'll have 15 minutes again. Welcome back. I see everyone flowing back in. I hope you had some great chats again. We're now off to our final pitch block for the day. So we will start off this block with Tree Track Intelligence. Tree Track was recently named Top 26 of 2024 by New Ventures BC. And with Tree Track's high-tech seed pods and hybrid drones, they are able to replenish ecosystems impacted by wildfires and deforestation. So pitching for Tree Track, we have Amir, the CEO. So I will turn it over to you now, Amir.
Thanks, Shannon, for the introduction. Yeah, we were top 10 also, not just top 26 with New Venture BC. So yeah, let me share my screen here quickly. Everybody can see my screen. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Amir. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tree Track. And in Tree Track, we're not just planting trees. We make sure that they grow. Sorry for my voice, but cool. 20 years ago, the manual planting was the best approach. And to be honest, it is still in many cases. But with climate change, wildfire, and increasing demand in reforestation, it is simply not enough. Right now, we're behind for 300,000 hectares for reforestation annually, and 25% of that is not safe for human planters. So to speed up the things, aerial seeding was introduced, and the idea was simply drop the seeds from airplane and let the nature take over. But it doesn't work. So seed lands in the wrong place, getting eaten by rodents, or before they have the chance to germinate, they would die out. And that's why the result for aerial seeding is 5 to 10%. Here in Tree Track, we solve that problem by offering custom seed pods. We make it tailored based on the region and the species, and that's patent pending for our seed pod. And at the same time, we develop a precision seeding or dispersal mechanism, which is patent pending, and it can mount it to any UAVs. So with that, we know where we drop the seed pods, and it's powered by AI and machine learning. And the story just starts here. It's just not dropping the seed pods. You have to monitor and track it. And through our platform, we monitor and track our reforestation projects for several years and report to our customers. It wasn't just overnight. Over more than 3 years, a big team tested more than 200 formulas, more than 1 million seed pods, starting in lab, take it to the greenhouse and to the real world pilot projects and commercial projects. And with that, we were able to get more than 55% seed pod to tree ratio verified by third party. And with that means 55% of our seed pods will turn to tree, and that's our current number, and we're improving it. At the same time, we were able to keep our costs low, so we can offer $1,000 lower costs compared to our other aerial seeding companies that are out there. We have amazing traction, and we restored 110 hectares so far. There are projects coming up starting April. We're going to be out there and restore more land. And that happened with partnership with First Nations, universities, and industries. And we generated revenue, doubled it every year. And the projection for this year is $1 million minimum. And we have an amazing potential $14 million project pipeline that we can serve it in 3 years. And that's going to be a variety of stakeholders can support these projects. How we can get there? With the amazing team we have, myself as agrologist, and having growing experience, and my partner Sam, who is a UAV expert and that has more than 17 years in the industry of UAVs, and the big team that we have, amazing people that helping us through our journey. In order to get to $14 million pipeline that we have, we're raising a bridge round for $1 million to serve more than 7,000 hectares land that is ready to go to our First Nation partners. And we want to spend that money for scale up and some CapEx and a portion for R&D projects that we have. So we're looking for investors, partnership, customers, and happy to have you in our breakout room, because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Amir. I loved it. We'll move to our next venture now. We have Terraferno. Terraferno is innovating the geothermal energy space. In fact, their technology can boost energy recovery by up to 80% and reduce drilling costs by up to 50%. Pitching today for Terra Ferno is the CEO, Ian. So I will turn it over to you now, Ian. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ian Hall, and I'm the founder and CEO of Terra Ferno. There's unlimited energy beneath our feet. We just need an economic way to access it. A lot of people have heard of geothermal. What a lot of people don't know is existing geothermal technologies can access just 2% of the world's potential. The other 98% can be accessed by newer, enhanced, and advanced geothermal technologies, but they are operationally and economically unviable without flow control systems. At Terra Ferno, we are developing a patent pending flow control system to make these new technologies operationally and economically viable. Historically, geothermal has been known as a high risk, low reward industry, but that's all about to change. With the new technologies, our customers are projecting payback in as little as 3 to 5 years on projects that will sustainably produce energy for 30 to 50 years. We are important to our customers because we can save them millions to tens of millions to reach their target energy recovery. For one early customer, we're reducing their development capex from 72 million down to 40 million to hit their target energy recovery. We're based here in Alberta, but we have global reach. We are engaged with projects and customers across the entire world. Our primary revenue stream is from product sales, and we're expecting $500,000 to $1.5 million per installation for our technology, depending on the size of the project. We have 5 EOIs and LOIs from the geothermal industry, including a binding LOI from Novus Earth for $500,000 for our first field trial, which is expected to be installed in Q4 of this year. Over the next 3 years, as we prove out key technologies, we're expecting 10 million in revenue, but by 2029, as the momentum of the industry accelerates, we're expecting 75 million in revenue. We are just in the process of closing our pre-seed round right now. I was just informed by our lead investor that all closing documents are approved and we are closing next week. And that gets us through phase 1 of our test facility build out, 200C field trials. And we're currently a team of 2. We plan to be 5 by summer. We have 3 provisional or patent applications filed. We have 6 more in the pipeline that are going to be getting filed soon. And right now we have clear runway to 2027, but with the accelerated growth of the geothermal industry, we're actually expecting to open our seed round as early as Q1 next year to start unlocking supercritical geothermal applications at 500 degrees Celsius. At Terra Ferno, we're not just adapting, we are defining the future of geothermal energy, and we want you to join us on our journey. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ian. That was great. And now we'll move to our next venture for today. We have Hamas. Hamas has developed a technology that transforms bast fibers to pulp at a 60% lower cost, 88% lower emissions compared to traditional wood pulping methods. So really excited to turn it over to Mark, the CEO, to tell us more. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, we'll just share the screen.
Yes, of course.
And there we go. We are Hamas Agrofiber Technologies, and we are one-of-a-kind pulp, although you're a little wrong based on our LCA data that we just got done. We did the new numbers for this demonstration, and as compared to traditional pulp, we use 80% less fresh water. We are 90% lower CO2. In fact, we could be considered the first carbon neutral producer of pulp on the planet, producing only 70 grams of pulp per 1 kilo, 70 grams of CO2 per 1 kilogram of pulp produced. And we, of course, do use 70% less energy in our processing. One of the reasons we're acting right now, and our company is actually building its first mill in Sweden, is that the EU has a directive to become forest-free in their pulping. So they are looking for alternative materials that are 100% compatible with existing forestry technology. Consumer demand and non-toxic are tied hand in hand. People are becoming acutely aware of the toxicity of the products that they're using around bandages, wound care, or menstrual products. Our pulp is the lowest metal and lowest chemistry pulp on the planet today. We have lab evidence and medical evidence of that. We are also much safer. Our waste stream, which traditionally in forestry is quite toxic and dangerous, is completely safe. And we're actually viewing it and doing a trial this year to sell it back to the farmers as a high quality fertilizer. Our entire pathos is around circular environmentalism. So farmers continue to grow their products for food. And so we're talking hemp, flax, ute, canaf, rhodiola, any bast fiber crop. Typically, bast fiber crops are very high in waste, so there's a lot of wastage surrounding that. We pay the farmers for it. We use our no hard chemical process to make a sustainable pulp. And then, of course, from our waste stream, we sell back to the farmers as a natural lignin and oxygen-rich fertilizer. Benefits to farmers are good because there's a new food product being developed, especially in the EU, we've heard of hemp coffee, hemp proteins, as well as traditional hemp hearts that you can buy at Costco's. The plant is also wildly profitable to farmers who are now able to capitalize on every part of the plant as opposed to just certain parts and have the rest deal as traditional wastage. As well as it's been easy to convince farmers to move to bast fiber plants, which traditionally leave behind much higher nitrogen levels, thereby reducing their reliance on artificial fertilizers. We are a one-of-a-kind patented process. We know this because all 108 patented claims are approved. We have 100% novelty, inventive step, industry applicability. We're patented in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, North America, and the EU. And there is nobody who is able to produce a 100% pure field fiber that's competitive with softwood lumber. Our initial mill is going to be scalable, starting at 4 tons an hour of production, moving to 7 tons an hour. We have 2 clients, Milnica, which is a medical supply company. You've seen their bandages likely in Canadian hospitals, and Essity, who is allowing us to develop menstrual products, an organic menstrual product line. And our industrial partners are Creets Engineering from Belgium, who does the upfront machinery for our process. Valmet, which is one of the largest engineering firms in the world today that makes a pulping manufacturing equipment. And recently just finished, and we're entering into discussions with IKEA tapping into their supply chain. We already have demand for more mills. So once we've built our first mill in the next 24 months on the Stofors site, we have requests for mills as we finished our talks, or starting our talks with the Polish government this morning for 1 or 2 mills in Poland to deal so they can scale their hemp growing capacity. For 2 mills in Italy, one is for Megaval, a Greek yogurt manufacturer who wants to make high cellulose fruit yogurt cups, and a coffee manufacturer, as well as the Netherlands. We are the first truly sustainable from field to pulp manufacturer in the world today. And this is one of the historic photos that we like to share. We're the first to make what's called high quality fluff pulp from field fiber. No other company in the world has done that without having to commingle with wood. We're the first 100% wood-free pulp. Our quick team, David Troyer, who's our marketing officer, Stacy, who does our corporate development, Beverly Hayduk, my wife, who's our HR director, Kurt Hardig, who's our senior engineer in processing and electrical, Martin Sjöstrand, he's our board advisor and part of the incubator that we work with in Sweden, Helena Wittelius, who is
Thanks,
our business
Mark.
development
I might
manager.
have to stop you just there, just to be mindful of time. Thank you. Really
Okay.
great. Awesome. And now we'll move to our last but not least pitch for the day. So we have Carbonova joining us, and they have developed a scalable technology that transforms greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane into high purity carbon nanofibers. So we have the CEO, Mina, here to pitch for you today, who you may have also recently seen on Bloomberg. So congrats, Mina. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mina Zarabian, CEO and co-founder of Carbonova. We convert carbon dioxide into premium carbon materials. Our customers are setting very ambitious goals of 50%, 100% CO2 reduction, 50%, 100% recycled materials. But they are suffering now with the current existing solutions are not economically viable, and the low carbon recycled materials lack performance. The solution that we offer to market is carbon negative additives that enhance recycled materials at lower cost. This is how our technology works. CO2 and methane, both greenhouse gases that are generated through industrial activities, go through a catalytic chemical process and convert into solid carbon and byproduct of water. The process is a slightly energy producer, and that is reduces the amount of energy that requires to produce this material more than 1 to 2 order of magnitude, depending on different processes. The material that we produce goes to different applications, mainly conductive materials for batteries, which is offering better properties and lower CO2 footprint comparing to natural and synthetic graphite. Other than that, it goes to post-consumer packaging, which enhances plastic strength, durability, and enable use of more recycled plastic. There's about $28 billion established market of carbonaceous materials. Currently, there are different types of carbon material with different quality and cost existing in the market, from carbon black, carbon fibers, and carbon nanofibers. What we offer is carbon nanofiber with the cost component pretty close to carbon black. On the right side, we see how the CO2 footprint of different carbon material exists in the market is between 20 to 30, whereas our carbon material has negative CO2 footprint. We have about 26 customers in the pipeline at different stages waiting to do testing and receiving the product from us. But we are particularly working with 2 groups of customers. One is one of the largest health and beauty companies under NDA that we are helping them with their sustainable packages. And the other group are one of the largest Korean conglomerate that looking into use of the material for battery application, for lithium-ion battery application, as well as using the technology to consume CO2 generated from their facilities. On the right side, we see how we are planning for the scale-up of our technology. The next phase is our first commercial demonstration unit with 25-ton capacity, expanding to 1,000 ton in our CNOVA 1 and then 10,000 ton for CNOVA 10. From there, we will be expanding with build, own, operate, and licensing. This is showing how our commercialization roadmap occurred. From production of a few grams, now we move to kilogram, and then the next stage will be tons. We have scaled up the technology about 1,000 times, raised so far $15 million Canadian. We have 15 full-time equivalent employees, 2 patents, and 1 is granted in Canada and Japan, and 3 JDAs with customers in place. We have a pilot plan up and running, generating products, providing it to customers to do their certification and testing. And we are now completing the engineering design and receiving commercial offtake for building our commercial demonstration unit that will be up and running in Q2 2026. That unit will be generating about $1 million revenue, and we are raising money, Series A, to build and operate that unit. We have a fantastic team with 150 years of experience. You can assume 149 of that is me and 1 year others. Joking. And we are raising now 12 million USD to build our 25-ton unit and accelerate our sales team globally. Happy to chat further in breakout room.
Thank you, Mina. Awesome. All right, we are going to move into our final breakout room.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. It was such a pleasure to have you all here. As always, I think I've put it in the chat quite a few times just in case you haven't seen it, but please submit the form to connect with any of the ventures on the call today that you're really keen on. Let's keep the conversation going. If you're interested to learn more about EarthTech 2050, what we're doing here at Foresight, and also Social Innovation Canada, please feel free to email me and or Shauna. Just to note, Shauna also does a lot of our programming in investor readiness and access to capital. So if you have any questions about those programs, please email her directly as well. Awesome. Amazing job today, Ventures. Just to let you know, we will also be sending out an email to all investors that registered for the event that potentially weren't able to make it to the call today. These things happen. So we will send out the information about you and see if we can get you a connection or intro call. So thanks everybody for joining. Have a wonderful day.